I want you to be open to trying new things. So I want you to look for what might be most helpful for you, what you want to explore after you get a name and a basic idea of the information of what it's about. If you go try something and it doesn't work, it doesn't seem the best for what you need, that's okay. You will have a list of different tools that you can go try. In no way should you think that you need to try all of these. This is going to be a long list and a lot of information, but I want this to just be a resource for you that you can go back to.
Welcome to the BJU Press Teacher Edition podcast, where Christian educators are encouraged and inspired as we bring you interviews, practical ideas, strategies, and answer your questions about teaching in today's culture. And here's your host, Jenny Copeland.
We are continuing our mini-series on AI, focusing on generative AI, and I'm excited to get started on another episode. Today, we're going to explore some of the main AI tools that we are seeing, especially in education. But before we look at those, let me remind you to check out our website, teachereditionpodcast.com, to learn more about the show, sign up for our newsletter, and also submit questions for upcoming episodes. You can also go find us on social media. Once again, we are Teacher Edition Pod on Instagram and TikTok, as well as Teacher Edition Podcast on Facebook. We're on YouTube as Teacher Edition Podcast as well. If you are finding these episodes helpful, let me encourage you to share them out and also leave us a rating and a review. We love hearing what you are enjoying, but those ratings and reviews also help new listeners find the show as well. So thank you in advance for taking time to leave some ratings and reviews for us. Once again, for those of you who may just be joining in, we're taking a brief break from our normal interview format to just talk about generative AI. This is a mini-series to just step back and look at some of the basics of generative AI. As I've mentioned each time, I am not coming with all the answers or any deep technical explanations. Just a very simple, a very practical look at what generative AI is, how it's impacting us, and how we can use it appropriately and encourage our students to do the same. It seems like we cannot make it through a day without hearing something about AI right now. I don't know about you, but daily I am receiving emails about this AI tool or what AI can do to help in this area or that area. AI is so prominent. It's everywhere, and there honestly is no end in sight. In the first 4 episodes of this mini-series, we talked about terminology, we talked about how AI works, myths, misconceptions, and then we did some benefits and some cautions. In the last episode, we talked about prompt engineering. And now, with all of that foundational knowledge, we're going to talk about some of those tools that are out there. We in no way have time to dig deeply into these tools. I just want to put them out there, put them on your radar, so you will have a general idea of what they do and how they might be helpful for you. As we jump into this, there are 3 more general thoughts that I want to put before you. So I've kind of laid the groundwork in the opening of this session, but here are 3 general thoughts that I want to kind of use as overarching, a focus as we look at these. First of all, a tool that claims to be a solution for everything is probably not the best at anything. So if you hear about these tools, you need to be looking for what will work best for you in your situation. And guess what? That means you're probably going to use various tools. You'll find your favorites, you'll quickly find their strengths and their challenges, but as with anything, you want to find the best tool for the job. And there are many out there right now who are saying, hey, we can do everything for you. Just be careful of those. Find what's best for your job. Secondly, there is a general thinking that ChatGPT equals AI. That's just one tool, but many people see that as that is the real tool. That is the one main tool, and everything else is pulling from that. No, ChatGPT is very powerful. It's very popular. It is a great tool, but it's just one tool. And we all know that for the different jobs that we are doing in our classrooms and personally, of course, we are going to need more than one tool. Lastly, I want to mentally invite you to raise your right hand. Okay, so kind of do this in your mind, or if you're standing right there, you can do it. Raise your right hand, and I want you to vow to not be overwhelmed by what you hear. We're going to cover a lot, and we're going to cover it very quickly because my goal is not to dig deep. I'm not going to take time to demo. I'm going to cover this much about these different tools. And in raising your right hand and vowing to not be overwhelmed, I do not want you to feel like you have to use all of these. I do not want to add to the overwhelm of what AI is. I know it can be a lot. I don't know how many times I've just had to walk away from it. Like as I'm studying it, as I'm learning about it, as I'm trying different tools, I just had to walk away and take a little break because it is a lot. So I want you to look for what might be most helpful for you, what you want to explore after you get a name and a basic idea of the information of what it's about. I want you to be open to trying new things. And you know what? If you go try something and it doesn't work, it doesn't seem the best for what you need, that's okay. You will have a list of different tools that you can go try. In no way should you think that you need to try all of these. This is going to be a long list and a lot of information, but I want this to just be a resource for you that you can go back to. Okay, let's get started. By the way, let me explain. Some of these are more, I guess you could call them standalones. They are more a platform where you could go in and chat and interact. Others are going to be tools that we all know, we all love, but that now have an AI tool within them to really strengthen them, and that's going to help streamline your work. So that being said, let's go ahead and start with ChatGPT, since likely that is the one that most of you have heard about or is most common. So ChatGPT, it is from OpenAI. It's known for being very conversational. It's a large language model where you're going to go in and mainly people use it for chatting. You can add documents. It will create things for you. It can create text, images, all those different things. It's very general purpose. It's a standalone. It's not within another tool, although it does power other tools. It generates, as I mentioned, text or images. It can answer your questions. It can help you brainstorm. You can use voice mode as well. So it's voice mode to chat. It does have web browsing now, and you can upload different documents. So it's free. I love the free version, so I'm going to talk mainly about those. But there is a paid version. You can get the Plus version, which at this point is about $20 a month. Basically, you get priority. At busy times when it might take longer to generate things or images that take a while, you're going to get priority on that. It also raises your limits. You can actually on the free version be notified you've asked too many questions. You have chatted too many times. You've gotten too many responses. You're done for today, basically. But this is going to raise those limits for you. So that is ChatGPT. The next one is DALL-E. So DALL-E is text to image. So it's a visual creation. You're going to basically give it a prompt and it's going to create an image for you. And you can be as creative as you want on this. One of my very first things that I created was a pilgrim working on an iPad. And again, you'll learn when you use things like DALL-E that fingers, often the characters have too many fingers. There's some funny things like that. Text does not come out very well. Hopefully they'll continue to improve all these things. You can also do sketch to art, which is very interesting. DALL-E is kind of at the center of controversy. So you can imagine if you were an artist, how is your art? Your art is out there, maybe on the internet, on a site, different places. Is it being used to train? Something is training this model so that when I say I need a pilgrim with an iPad, where did it get the iPad? Where did it get the pilgrim? So you can imagine how some of these things have generated some interest among artists as well. And those are things, again, we're waiting to see how those will pan out. But very interesting tool. I've created a lot of different images for different presentations and things like that. So just know that that is available. The next one is called Sora. So Sora is from OpenAI as well, and it's a text-to-video creator. Now, it is connected to the ChatGPT Plus version. So this is one that's going to be paid. You make videos even up to 20 seconds, and you can just be super creative with this. I played with this. I even just love going to their site and watching the demos and the samples there. Last time I was on, it was like paper airplanes in formation going through the mountains. You're just so unique, and sometimes I'm not really sure what you would use all that for, but it does really create some great short videos if you need those. Again, maybe for your school, maybe for you personally demonstrating something, you can do that. Google Vid is another one that does a great job. I think their time limits are a little bit less, so you'd want to check into that. But if you do need to create videos, you have some great tools there. The next one is Claude. Maybe you have heard of this one. It is from Anthropic. It has great reasoning capabilities. It has structured output. There's extended memory there. It's very precise in its reasoning, does a good job with that. It's known for its privacy. It does have an I don't know feature. And I love that because we all just need to say that sometimes. We don't know everything, and neither does AI. So it is not afraid to say that. It was actually founded by former OpenAI members, which is very interesting. It's very current. It does have a feature called artifacts, which are basically like pre-made prompts. And you'll see this is becoming really popular among the tools where you can either create a prompt and keep it. So if you're going to use that over and over, you have that there for you. They call them different things on the different platforms. Or they have some of their own that you can use, which are really helpful because they've already refined that, and that can save you some time. The next one is Copilot. So Copilot is from Microsoft. It's part of M365. It's very productivity based. So if you use Word or PowerPoint, Excel, you're going to see this often embedded in there. I always have the little Copilot sign there, the little icon there for me. It is an add-on. It can summarize for you. It can create things. It can draft. It can write, edit. It's always asking how it can help me. It's very much that intern right there wanting to help. But that is Copilot from Microsoft. Gemini is another one. This is from Google. So it does create images, and it actually does a pretty good job. I've used it to create a number of images, and I've been really pleased with it. It's verifiable with Google, obviously. It's used with Google extensions. It has Common Sense Media describes it this way. It has thoughtful content safeguards and privacy controls. I thought that was great. When it was first released, it was called Bard, B-A-R-D. Maybe you recognize that. So it has real-time web. As I mentioned, good images. It also does use the I don't know response. It can create citations for you if you want to see that. I really appreciate that. Often you'll see the little link there, and you can follow that to see where it came from. It does have its own chatbots that you can build, customize, and there's some pre-created ones called gems. So you can remember Gemini gems in there. There has been recent concern as they continue to make this available to students younger and younger, especially embedded into tools like Google Classroom. It's now part of NotebookLM. So as students can use this currently, as of right now, and I'm very confident Google will hopefully address this, there's not really a teacher dashboard where they can go in and see what their students are talking about, can monitor that activity. It's just been made available to them. And as one notable educator said, that's kind of like letting all the students out to recess without supervision. So it's great that they're making it available. They've worked hard to put in the safety controls and the privacy and things like that. But where is the direction on that? Where is the oversight? So just something to be aware of with that as you see that popping up in the different tools. The next one is Perplexity. This is part AI chatbot, part web search. It is an AI-powered search engine that provides answers from web searches. So this one is just a little bit different. It's not necessarily only trained on that data that it's provided. It does verify its sources. Common Sense Media does point out there is some risk in that because as it's going out, and more sites are doing this though, as they're going out and looking at websites and pulling out that information, it's not like this was from a controlled data set. So it definitely could pull some issues that might pull some data that might be inaccurate. So you definitely want to check that. It's great that it's current, but there is that little trade-off there. Grok is the next one, and I told you we were going to move quickly. Again, I just want you to know the name and know a little bit about it, so as you hear about them, you'll just know more. This is from X. It's very fast. It's conversational. Of course, as you can imagine, it searches X, which used to be Twitter, and the internet. It actually recommends YouTube videos, which is kind of unique, and it's a great feature there as well. The next one is Poe AI. Now, PO stands for Platform for Open Exploration. And it's not just one platform. It's actually pulling from 70 or over 70 large language model AI resources. So it's kind of giving you, as they say it, a cohesive balance because it's pulling the best from all of those. You're not just, well, this is how Gemini works, but when sometimes I go over and use this one, it's actually pulling from a number of different resources, and then you can compare those results. So that's Poe AI. Now, the next one is probably a name you know well, and that is Canva. And by the way, if you have not tried out Canva, you need to try it out as soon as this episode is over. Canva has so many amazing tools. It's kind of like your own personal designer. You can get an educator account, which is free and just gives you access to so many different tools. But they have also now brought AI into their platform. They have Magic Design, which is their visual content creation. They have text to video, they have text to image. I really like their images. I've actually created some for some presentations, some biblical worldview presentations. And again, trying to prompt something like that, I was getting some really unique results on some of the others. And Canva came through and just did a really great job. They have what they call their Dream Lab, so you can check that out. There's obviously great collaboration in Canva. So as you know, you can share documents and work on them together. So again, this is inside of Canva. It's a tool that's added. So it's not something like ChatGPT where it's its standalone platform that you're kind of chatting with and things like that. It's actually in Canva, a tool you might already know. And now they're just adding on features, options for you that are using AI. Okay, the next one is Curipod. This one is absolutely fantastic. It actually creates interactive lessons for you. So it creates the slideshow, and it will put in assessments. It just creates the whole package for you. It also provides personalized feedback to the student. So you're giving that ideal answer to the assessments, and it will grade it based on that and give them feedback. So you basically go in there, tell them the lesson, the standards, tell Curipod the lesson, the standard, the topic, what age level. You can choose from polls, word clouds, drawings, open-ended questions. You just tell it what you want, and it's going to create that. So I did this recently for first grade students who love space exploration. They are particularly interested in the International Space Station. Like, I gave it all these different parameters. It came back with pictures and fun facts, and the slides were all made, and then it inserted age-appropriate activities, so they would see that on their devices. They could do it together with me or do it at home later, and it just created that whole package. And then, of course, as they were inserting their answers, it was giving them feedback based on what I had told it as like the ideal answer. Okay, the next one is Powtoon. Now, Powtoon is a paid tool. So there may be a few free things, but the majority of what you're going to get there is paid. So it has AI avatars that create the lessons in a video format. It really does. They have a whole suite of tools, by the way. They can help you write your script. They can help you do your graphics, all that. And they really are some great looking videos. So if you're needing to make a video, maybe instructional video or an FAQ video or something like that, it really has done a great job. It's a good classroom level tool. And of course, I'm focusing on things that can be used in education. There are thousands and thousands and thousands of other tools that are used in different industries, different careers, things like that. So I'm just kind of focusing on those ones that are being highlighted right now in education. The next one is Brisk. I love Brisk. And I can't tell how many teachers I'm seeing now that are using Brisk, because you can tell because it's a Chrome extension and it has a little bee that appears on your screen. And basically, what it does is whatever screen you're on, so if you are on an internet site, if you are on a shared document, that little bee appears, and when you click it, it's going to ask, what can it do to help you based on the information that's found on the page you're on? So I could click on it, and it might have, it could level the text. So maybe I'm reading about the White House, and it's just kind of heavy for my first graders. I could have it rewrite that text in verbiage that a first grader would understand. It can create slideshows, quizzes, lesson plans. You can customize chatbots for students. It supports differentiation. Something that's really, really cool about it is it also has an inspector tool. So if you're pulling up, let's say, a shared Google document that your students have created, they've turned in their homework, you can turn on the inspector, and it actually kind of creates a video of how that document was built. So for instance, if you see type, and everything fills in, what might have just happened there? I would say you're dealing with a copy paste. So it's just kind of an interesting way to see how that's built, kind of look back at the history of the creation of that document. So it just has some really, really helpful tools. And again, that's Brisk, and it's really, really easy to use. All you do is click on that bee and up come all the different tools. Now, the next tool is School AI, and the one after it is Magic School AI. If you are looking at ways to include students in using AI, I would really recommend you look at these tools. I'm going to give you one more as well, but these are two that have really kind of taken front and center stage. You can create a personalized learning experience, or basically you're giving them a space to work in. You're going to give that student activity. We are talking, I want them to write such and such, or create such and such, or research such and such. And then you choose the tools that they can use. They can also use AI. So it's all within this very closed, safe space. They don't even have an account. You're going to give them a code, kind of like when you go into Kahoot or something like that. They're going to go in and they can do that activity. You can see what they've done, what they've accessed. You can see their chats. It's all very safe, very controlled. They have an AI assistant. You can create a co-teacher, which is like a version of you. There are just so many tools in School AI. And like I mentioned, the next one is Magic School AI. Again, a whole library of tools for teachers. You can create a room and students work within that room. It's not just the wild, wild west that they can do whatever they want using AI. They are within that room. You can customize that room with unique chatbots that they can, chat back and forth, discuss things. You can choose what content. You can set feedback. There's literacy support. Just amazing tools there, and a very safe space for students to use AI. Now, the next one, probably some of you are going to look at and say, wait a minute, that is one that my students have used to find answer keys to different things, and that is Quizlet. And we completely understand there are some homework solutions concerns with Quizlet. Students getting answers, students finding answer keys on there. Again, those are not posted by the publisher. Those are posted, unfortunately, by customers. But the thing I want to point out about Quizlet is they are one of the many tools that has taken up adaptive learning. So basically, it targets the content that the student gets next based on their performance. So if they're reviewing a concept, with their flashcards or whatever, that AI tool is going to create the next set of, the learning content based on how the student did. So this is popping up more and more in tools, and I just want you to be aware that it's there. The next one is Edpuzzle. And I am a big fan of Edpuzzle because Edpuzzle allows you to insert assessments into videos. So basically the video stops and up comes multiple choice, different types of activities. You can do it together as a class. They can do it on their own. And there's accountability. You can see how far they've watched, how many times they worked through the assessments, all kinds of things like that. Well, now with their AI tool, the AI tool will recommend questions based on your video. So it's basically looking at those closed captions, the transcript, and saying, hey, here's some questions. And it saves me time. Again, I am the ultimate judge. I bring to the table what is best for my students. So I'm going to be looking at that and deciding, but just know it can kind of help you. It can be your assistant in that way. So Creative is another one that I just want to mention because it's an example of one of those review game type sites where you're going to give it a prompt and say, hey, this is what we're studying. We're studying the periodic table. And it can create those questions for you to use in that environment. Padlet is the next tool. Again, a tool you probably are very familiar with, but recently they have made huge upgrades. They have added so many improvements to their site just in general usage, but also created the Padlet TA. So your teacher assistant, where there are just general teacher tools. Again, remember I told you when we were talking about prompting, they basically built the prompt for you and you go in and you're just filling in that information that's specific to your use case. And there it is. You don't even have to worry about prompting all the different details of creating. They have already done that. So in their huge updates, they also have AI recipes where it's basically they have created different boards and you're just giving it that information. So I'm creating this for my third grade students or my American government class. We're reviewing such and such. I want them to give feedback about, and you're just giving the general idea. And instead of you having to go through and build it, it looks at what you want and builds that for you. By the way, Padlet is basically a digital bulletin board. So they can post things on it. They can create an interactive timeline, all different options there. And again, it helps you build that with those AI tools. Khanmigo. Probably you are familiar with Khan Academy. This is basically Khan Academy's assistant. The number of teacher tools is fantastic. So you can either get in through Khan Academy or go to Khanmigo. There are plans and groupings and levelings, and there's student tutor opportunities in there. You can explain topics based on the depth that you want, the grade level. It is definitely built for education. Even Common Sense Media points that out. It's a very low risk. It is built for teachers and students. So go check that out. As well as maybe the tool Quizzes, which recently changed their name to Wayground. This is another example of a tool where they have put so many teacher tools in there. Again, it's a little bit different. It's not just creating a quizzes. They have all these teacher tools now, but AI helps build those questions. And I love that you can level up or level down questions. So if you have a set of questions, it can change those up for you. It can adjust the reading level for that. The number of questions. So again, it's there as your assistant to help you. One of my newest favorites, and I just finished watching, I don't know how many sessions about this tool as I've been trying it out, is Snorkel. So Snorkel without the E at the end. And basically, teachers are providing an activity or a question for students, and the students are going in and they can record their voice explaining that. They can also do it at the same time they're writing on a whiteboard. So it ties those two together. They have also just added a writing helper so they can write and it's giving feedback. Again, you as the teacher are putting in that ideal answer. You're telling what it should be, and then it's using what you want to help give them that feedback. So the teachers train the feedback, if you want to think of it that way. It's multimodal. It's really hard to cheat with because you're asking students to explain what they are doing. There is even the coach option that is helping them as they work along. It's a little bit like Flip. You probably remember Flipgrid and it became Flip. You have an option in Snorkel where students can actually see each other. So you can turn that on or off because you may just want to turn it into you. But I love the option for them to see and learn from each other. So again, you have the whiteboard option. It's recording what they're doing on the board. It can record their voice while they're working on the board. And then it has that writing assistant as well. NotebookLM is so powerful. This is from Google, and it really focuses on helping users interact with documents. So especially if you're in any kind of leadership capacity or you're dealing with a lot of documents or information, you basically create notebooks. You can have up to 50 sources. You can have up to 100 notebooks. You put in those resources. So I might put in a manual. I might put in sample websites, and it is going to basically narrow that down for me and help me be able to get through that information more quickly. It'll give me summaries. It can give me FAQs. It can give me timelines. And the most amazing thing is it can give you a podcast from all that information. It creates this. So it can go back through meeting notes, and you can even have two people discussing what went on in the meeting, telling you who said what, and they're basically giving you a summary of that. You can even interrupt them and ask questions, and they will look back at that information and give you that information. So give you that answer from the information. It's just an amazing tool. That's NotebookLM. Then TrekA. This is a platform. This is an AI platform. Students can use it. Teachers can use a number of teacher tools. Students can use it. You can get a subscription for them. What's unique about this is this AI platform is built from a biblical worldview. This is one of the very few, if only, that are out there with a biblical worldview. So you have that base foundation. We have actually done a podcast episode about this. So I'm not going to spend a lot of time there. It's also Socratic in nature. So it's going to ask questions, not just give answers. And we have partnered with them. BJU Press has partnered with them so that you can actually, as you're using those teacher tools or students are asking questions, reviewing, using those tools, it can be pulling from our materials, which just kind of adds value to that. It's not just general answers. Okay, that was a lot. And I'm going to sprinkle just a few more here on top as we close out this episode. So here's another additional list of just some others that you might want to go check out. Labster has AI simulations for science. It's very safe. It's free. GeoGuessr, this is, it has AI enhancements, but basically you guess real world locations and it's based on the Google Street images. Duolingo, it has AI-driven features now as well, so it's adapting those exercises to the skill of the student. Kittl is an AI search engine, and it's based on that safe that safe search option in Google. So it just makes it a little safer as students are wanting to use some of these tools as well. It's built for them. The next one is Khan Academy Kids. This is geared towards ages 2 to 7. It has activities and books and videos, and it's all built on their learning as it builds out more activities for them. Osmo is what we call reflective artificial intelligence. I have an Osmo. I love it. Basically hooks on the top of the device like an iPad, and it's seeing what the student does on the desk. So if it asks them to code something, or it's asking them to do an addition problem or make a pattern, it can see what they are doing with the different tiles and give them that feedback. Formative is another example of making quizzes or lessons from prompts. It's those tools that have been around and now have AI in them. Goblin, you need to go check out Goblin. When you're done here and you just need a little brain break, go check out Goblin. It's a think helper. That's kind of how they describe it. It has a number of wide features, from building your grocery list to changing the tone of an email. It's just very, very interesting. A few more, CK12 Flexi. This is a digital tutor for upper level math and science. So if you're one of those teachers, you might want to check that out, CK12 Flexi. And the last one I'm going to give you is Diffit. Wow, this one has really hit education with a fury. It focuses on just right resources, and differentiated, so differentiated instruction, Diffit. You can go in, type in what you need. It's going to give you a print version. You can also use it digitally. So some of these tools are just digital. I love that they create that print option as well. So you have to try these out. Maybe you can just pick one and go try it out. Just like the intern, you're going to learn the strengths and weaknesses, what works well, what maybe you should do yourself. You're going to figure that out. There are so many options. And as I said, if they claim to do everything for you, it's probably not the best in anything. So you're going to find what works best for you. And honestly, well, that is just a really high flyover of those tools. I hate to tell you, but that's also just a scratch in the surface of the thousands and thousands of tools that are out there. I just wanted to get some of those more popular tools in front of you and expose you to them at a really high level so you know what they do. Now it's your turn. So take some time this week and go pick one of those tools and go explore it a bit and see what it can do. Maybe you just want to pick a tool you already use and go try out the AI component in that now. Remember what we learned about prompting. And of course, several of these tools will already have that built in there. It's going to do some of that prompting for you. I want you to go see what AI can do for you. Now, some of you may be thinking, is this okay? Like, I'm a teacher. I'm supposed to be doing all the work, right? That's kind of how we're wired that way. And that's okay. That's a legitimate question. We do want teachers to work hard, but I think that question goes back to our mindset. Remember back in one of the really early episodes, we talked about shifting our mindset about AI. Unfortunately for many of us, our introduction to AI in our educational space was students using it to cheat. We talked about that. That is how we now see AI as a tool. It's more negative. But we have to remember that is a misuse of what can be a really great tool, a tool that can help you tremendously to streamline your work and give you more time for what is most important and what only you can do. So I want you to think of it this way. Likely you have a vacuum in your classroom, right? Or to use for your classroom. Now, every day after school, you could get down on the floor and pick up every little schnivel from the day, or you could use that vacuum, a tool, to get that work done more efficiently so you can focus on what only you can do. Did using a vacuum relieve you of your duties and leave you bored as a teacher? No, I am not too worried about great teachers running out of work, but using that vacuum gave you back time for what only you can do. So if one of these AI tools could help you think of some ideas for an enrichment activity or write some extra practice problems or rearrange your seating chart in less than 20 seconds, you have now gotten back some of that time, what you as a human, what you as a teacher can only do. So think of these AI tools as super excited, exuberant, ready to help student teachers or interns. They're ready to help you do whatever. You put that intern to work in appropriate ways and continue to do what you need to do. We're going to talk more about those boundaries, but I hope today you're walking away with a better understanding of some of the tools that are out there and available. And honestly, while we've been talking, no doubt more have become available. The options are endless, it seems. So as we wrap up this episode, we have much to look forward to the next time we're together as we talk about the student use of AI. We'll look at some statistics. We'll talk about how generative AI can be used as a powerful tool, even for students, when used appropriately, of course. I trust you'll plan to join us. As we close out this episode, just a quick reminder to go to teachereditionpodcast.com to learn more about this show. And of course, go submit some questions for our upcoming episodes. Be sure to subscribe to the podcast and follow us on social media. Now, it's time to get back to your day. It's not just any day, though. Every day in the classroom is your day to impact and inspire through God's power and through His grace working in you. Now go do what God has called you to do.